Greetings, fellow Earthlings. Dave Smith coming to you with another episode of And Another Thing with Dave. Talking about some recent news I just heard. Today's the 30th of April. I heard this on the 28th of April. Jesse Ventura has announced that if he gets enough support, he will run as a third-party candidate in the Green Party. Now, what makes this amazing to me is that a day before I heard that, Jimmy Dore, on his show, on a live podcast, announced, he said, basically, quote unquote, if Jesse Ventura runs, I will run as his VP. So from the mouth of Jimmy Dore, he would consider getting into politics if Jesse Ventura announced his candidacy. So I think this is huge in a number of ways. Like, oh my God. So Bernie built this huge movement that's just falling apart, right? Like totally reminiscent of the first Obama campaign, right? This army of people, and then Obama just disbanded that army and did nothing with it. Same thing. So Bernie's like once again selling out, like, oh my God, vote for Biden. No. Hillary 2.0. Like, are you kidding? Biden's run like, I don't know, 3, 4, what? How many times has Biden run? I don't know. But he couldn't win then, and he's worse and demented now. And if you can't admit to yourself that Biden is a senile, demented senior citizen, then you're just not paying attention. And if you think that guy is going to beat Trump in a debate, like, if there's one thing Trump can do, it's debate. So Biden has no chance. He has a snowball's chance in hell. Slim pickings is what I'm saying. So mark my words. And by the DNC putting up Biden over Bernie, this guy that had huge momentum behind him, we see how the game is rigged, right? So are you going to play along with that game? Or are you going to go outside the box and actually go for what Obama promised us back in 2008, which was change? Real fucking change. So Jesse Ventura and Jimmy Dore would deliver that. These are two guys that cannot be bought out. They don't need the money, first of all. And they're on our side. They're fuck the system type people. So, to me, it seems like a no-brainer. Oh my God. Go, Jesse, go. And Jimmy? Fuck yeah. And then what do? We stack the cabinet, right? Stack the cabinet with all these fake progressives that couldn't bring the fight, but that can do a good job. So you put Tulsi in as, Secretary of State. She'll end all of our regime change wars, reel back ridiculous military spending. We spend as much as the next 12 countries combined. So let Tulsi Gabbard, get the reins of that, reel that in. Put Elizabeth Warren in charge of reining in the banks and Wall Street. That's what she's best at. Put Bernie in in charge of like Secretary of Labor and let him set up the New Green Deal and eliminate all the monopolies like Amazon, Facebook, yada yada yada, and etc. Shahid Bhattar, have him replace Nancy Pelosi, who Nancy Pelosi is the most miserable human being in the world. And if you don't know that, please do some more research, because, oh my God, she is the person responsible for blocking all the progressive legislation in the last 20 years. She's the one. It all comes to her desk. And she says no every time. And every time she votes with Republicans and with Donald Trump and doesn't oppose him at all and doesn't even argue for concessions. He wanted an expanded military budget. Boom, Nancy Pelosi signed off on it. $130 billion. As she was saying that she was going to impeach him because he's working with the Russians, at the same time, she signed off, gave him $130 billion extra for military. Increase of $130 billion. For the border wall, $80 billion. Nancy Pelosi signed off on it. She spoke out against it, but then she signed off on the bill and gave him the money. So she has never opposed him once. Not once. The only thing she did to oppose him was the what do you call it? Kabuki theater, theatrical circus that was called the impeachment. She knew it would never get past the Senate because the Senate announced, as soon as she said she was going to do impeachment, the Senate announced, we will side with the president. So if it doesn't get through the Senate, you're not going to get the president out of office. So what the fuck is the point? Except for a bunch of fucking theater to make it look like you oppose the president, when in reality, you're signing all these bills. Everything the fucking guy wants. And it's not just Pelosi, it's all of them, really. AOC has now caved. She sold out. She's opposing nothing. She's not fighting for Medicare for all anymore. So the cancer runs deep. It must take, what's your price? Like, fuck, for $5 million? I would probably compromise my integrity. What's your price? Who knows what these people are being offered, right? Like, what was AOC offered to totally cave on her program, what got her elected, and to just toe the line with Pelosi? What do you think she got paid? You think she got death threats? Or do you think she got paid? Was it a carrot or was it a stick? I wonder. Anyway, please chime in. Let me know what you think about this. These are crazy fucking times. And there's crazy shit going on back behind the scenes. As all of us are just told to stay at home, be quiet, put your fucking mask on, shut up, drink a bunch of alcohol because, your liquor store is an essential business. But you can't go to the beach. As we're being told all this, there is some fancy footwork going on behind the scenes. And I want to know what y'all think about it. Please let me know. Chime in. Thankfully, we're on up to 8 platforms right now. And also on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. So chime in. Please let me know what you think. So I want to hear from you people. Chime in. How many of you are blue no matter who? And what do you think about Jesse Ventura? Like, are you committed to Biden? Like, I don't know. What's your thing? How did that work out for Hillary? Um, the undecided people. Who are you leaning towards? Are you not gonna vote? Because that doesn't help anybody. So please vote. And then the people on the right, like, that may be kind of weaning away from Trump. What do you think about Jesse Ventura? And Jimmy Dore? Jimmy Dore as the VP, I think, seals the deal. Because, oh my God, all of a sudden now you have, like, an investigative journalist, critical mind as the VP. Like, wow, might be the first time ever. The change that we could achieve would be incomprehensible. And like I'm saying, then you put in place a cabinet that is just rock star. You put Tulsi Gabbard in charge. You make her Secretary of State. She's in charge of our foreign policy, and begins to implement a policy of reeling back all these regime change wars and ending regime change wars. And then you put Elizabeth Warren in place to dismantle the too big to fail banks and to rein in Wall Street, which is her strength. And then you put Bernie in charge of, maybe make him Secretary of Labor, right? So he would be in charge of dismantling the monopolies that are fucking up the labor union, the labor sector, and instituting the $15 minimum wage, or $20 minimum wage, I would say, a livable wage, and then also implementing the new Green Deal and a guaranteed jobs program, so that if you're an American and you want to work, there is a job for you that will provide a living wage. And we need this because our infrastructure is crumbling. So, my gut on this is that the New World Order and the powers that be, the international billionaires, are conspiring to tank our country, to tank our economy, to destroy the infrastructure, to bring it to its knees, so that they can then implement these trade deals that are beneficial to the corporation over the country. And then we will have no Bill of Rights. We will have no Constitution. The corporation will run absolutely everything. And we're 90% there. This whole COVID bullshit is ramping it up. I'm not saying that it's not real, but here we are again, handing over civil liberties, handing over our rights. In exchange for what? For the illusion of security? And I forget who said it, but it's one of my favorite quotes of all time. If you compromise, if you sacrifice liberty for the sake of security, you are guaranteed neither. So let that sink in. And with that, I'm going to end this rant. We're up to 8 different platforms right now. And if you like what I'm doing, please, subscribe, share with friends. Please help me get the word out. And thank you very much for listening. This has been Dave Smith. Peace out.